This is Geek Speak. If you are joining us for the first time, we get on here every Thursday and we talk about something to do with marketing and advertising. This week, we are talking about LinkedIn. Greg, are you seeing it shared out there? You are. Yay. Okay. So we are good to go. So the discussion this week, we're talking about advertising on LinkedIn. We're talking about Campaign Manager, 3 ad formats, and the costs and budgets of things with LinkedIn advertising. If you don't know who we are, we're 2 agency owners that get on here and discuss marketing and marketing your business. So I'm Pip. I own a company over on Vancouver Island, and we help business owners and entrepreneurs with their search and social marketing. And this is Greg. I'll let him introduce himself. And hold on. There we go. Hi, Greg.
Hi, everyone. I'm Greg McKinnon, and I own
business owners and entrepreneurs with their search and social marketing. And this is Greg. I'll let him introduce himself. Hold on. And Greg. Greg, do that again, because I muted you and not me, and I meant to mute me, not you.
Oh, man.
Right. Sorry about that.
Hey, everybody. My name is Greg McKinnon, and I run Original 72 Creative, and we're a full-service website, graphic design, and digital marketing agency operating in the Vancouver Lower Mainland area.
Nice, Greg. Nice. I'm glad you're here. Am I unmuted? I am unmuted. So Lucinda's here and Sasha's here. She's saying we're a hoot. Lucinda's in. She's just popping on to say hi. Hi. We're so glad you came. We're talking about LinkedIn. So pop in the comments if you are on LinkedIn, because we all should connect. Greg and I got on here a couple weeks back and we talked about LinkedIn in general. And now we're going to bounce over to LinkedIn ads because that's cool. So Greg, do you have any clients that are advertising on LinkedIn right now? Tell me about your LinkedIn experience so far.
Well, this will be an interesting topic for me because you've done more research and worked on LinkedIn probably more than I have. The extent that I've worked with LinkedIn is more personally for my professional profile. I do have a company page and I do post things once in a while.
I've seen those.
I have all of my information there and stuff like that, but I have not delved into any paid advertising on the platform. So I'll maybe be curious to ask you some more questions and do a little bit more research myself on actually doing advertising on the platform.
Right, it's pretty interesting. Well, I don't know if everybody knows, but LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft. That happened a couple of years ago. Microsoft actually just bought, or a little while ago, the developer GitHub, which is kind of crazy, but totally different topic. But I thought I'd mention that because, wow, are they buying cool things? That's a developer's playground, and some developers even get social media. But back to LinkedIn. So if anyone's out there been on LinkedIn and tried advertising, let us know. We'd love to hear your experience. I've done some for a business, but I'm sure I'm a novice compared to some. Like it's a pretty deep platform, been around for a while. I love it with all my heart, but I will say the advertising, you want to be particular and know your stuff if you're going to advertise on there. So we were going to talk about who advertising's for on there first, I think, which is so it's for B2B. Right. So would I recommend somebody advertising their services like a VA service? That's still B2B. But so I think it's, Michelle's joined us. Hi, Michelle. So B2B advertising, it seems to be a good place to maybe advertise on there. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely more B2B than B2C. I mean, I'm curious to try some advertising myself and see what happens, see if I can get in front of, my target market. It's definitely a place where there's probably more of my target market than than being able to advertise on Facebook, which I would think is a little bit more B2C. Even though there's a lot of businesses on Facebook also, they're all trying to get in front of consumers. They're not looking to connect with other businesses usually.
So maybe they're trying to connect with the business owner as a consumer, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, there are some services that work really well on Facebook. I think for LinkedIn, yeah, we're kind of seeing it grow and blossom. Although, you know, for other social media platforms, when advertising came out on them, they were cheaper. It's not so with LinkedIn. So first, I think we should get into the different, who can, like, can I advertise as a person or a business on LinkedIn, and what are the different ad formats? I think that is the meat of this discussion. Mm-hmm. So Michelle, I know you're just joining us. I don't know if you've tried LinkedIn ads. Let us know, and anybody else again. So your experience, we want to know. But Greg, LinkedIn and the types of ad formats. So there's 3, mm-hmm. and you can use your personal profile to do one of those types of ads, which is the text ads, which is like why I got involved with it, because I do Google AdWords. So it was a natural transition to do LinkedIn ads. I didn't work. We shut the campaign down.
Was this an experiment for your own business?
No, it was a client.
Okay.
And, you know, their targeting on LinkedIn is pretty good. So the first type of ads and the one type of ads we did with this client was the text ads. And that's because it's the only type of ad you can do from your personal business page, right?
So if you were doing advertising for a client through their personal LinkedIn, did they not have a company, or like what kind of business were they that you would push them that direction?
I did not push them. They wanted to try it, so we just jumped on board. It was for a sale of a book, right? Mm. So, and therefore it was about the targeting, because targeting is super dialed in on LinkedIn. It is probably the best part of LinkedIn advertising. Mona's joined us. Hi, Mona. So the LinkedIn advertising, yeah, you can get really granular with types of jobs people have or industries they're in, right? And all that is in there. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of neat to go in there. The reason we did that, he didn't want to use his business page, so we couldn't take it further and do. So the second type of ad I was going to talk about is they're called sponsored content. They're just the display ads in the feed, and mm-hmm. you can use video. They have lead ads you can use. So those I find work really well, and the platform will just look so clean. Really hard to tell the difference between the ad.
I noticed that too, and I actually don't mind that.
I liked it.
I don't mind the fact that ads look the same as an article or just a general post that a contact of mine has put out. I prefer it that way. I get more annoyed when I see things in, like, as a for instance,
it's an ad.
Yeah, like it looks very addish. I don't like that at all.
Right? Yeah, I will agree. Mona's saying hello, besties. Yay, that's nice. Thank you, buddy. I'm so glad you're here. So yeah, it made me, seeing the ads on LinkedIn actually made me look at the platform as a whole, like kind of take a step back. And what I noticed was it feels cleaner than Facebook. Mm-hmm. As weird as, so there's not a lot on the sides, right? So you are directed to the middle. And so I think that's pretty effective. I would like to try the sponsored ads, as they're called, or sponsored content, as they're called. They even use native ads, which was interesting because, you know, native kind of in the advertising world means natural, you know, kind of like, anyway. So there's those two formats, and then there's InMail. I'm sure you've all experienced InMail if you're on LinkedIn. Greg, have you experienced InMail?
Yes.
Anybody else out there? What do you think of InMail?
Not a fan of InMail.
Right. So I wasn't, and I'm not generally, but I will say yesterday before, I'm talking to someone this week.
You know,
Uh,
I would think InMail has a specific purpose, and it's more to connect with people um,
who sell a service.
who either sell a service or are really good candidates maybe for
Good job.
what you have to offer. And I feel like InMail needs to be much less salesy and more networking related and indirect salesy later on after you've made a connection. I've had too many people contact me in mail that I was like, oh yeah, I'll connect off chance, maybe it's a cool connection, and immediately they're like, hey, we think you can, you should buy this and we could do this for you. And I right away I mail them back and saying, I was open to the connection, but the first thing you did was try to sell me something and I'm not down with that kind of thing, and remove the connection immediately. So I feel like there's a process and a place for in-mail advertising, but it's not to directly like go after the person and say like, we can do this for you. It's a more of a nurturing connection type of a thing.
I will say, as a business owner, the guy that approached me, he sent me an in-mail. I didn't even see it. It was the second. It wasn't in-mail after that. It was the second thing, the write-up, and it was something. So his services was something I was interested in learning more about, and so it did pique my interest. So it did take, but it didn't seem as badgering. Some of the in-mail just seems like they're badgering you, right? And it's too fast and too furious, right? Like, but it could work for instance, for you offering services like if you want to white label your website services, you could hit website companies, right? Things like that. It's super interesting. The cost though is pretty high for these things. I think in-mails right in your inbox. Open rate is huge. I'm not sure about the conversion rate though. So yeah. So have you ever made a connection or bought anything?
Never bought anything. I have made connections. I think there might be a handful that I've kept. And every once in a while, I do get some related message, either offering something. A lot of the time, I just ignore it.
Right.
So, yeah.
This is interesting. Lucinda's saying, linked to too many messages, treating it as a dating site or inappropriate pushy sales. Yes, and not appropriate. Yeah, I agree. So sales does not need to be pushy. If you do find the people you're looking for and you do have a service they want, it can just flow right into a natural progression. I've seen it happen to myself with what we're doing in business. So I think email is really interesting. So I really like it, but I haven't used it. I think the cost is a little bit high for people and the return on investment might be small. So
is InMail the highest price point for advertising on LinkedIn because it goes direct to?
I'm not sure how they do it. I've never done it. So I would have to dig in further. I mean, I would probably try the video ads first.
Yeah.
Just to see that, because they look great. And yeah, it is. So those are the formats. You can only do in-mail, sponsored content. So that would be lead generations and video ads included. If you have a business page, you have to do it through your business page. You cannot do it through your personal page. So, it makes it a few more clicks and a little bit more, prep. You use something called the campaign manager. Looks a lot like the Facebook ads manager. Not as sophisticated, but it looks pretty cool. Greg, you should check it out. Go in there today. Anybody else too? Feedback. I got some links to some articles that I thought were pretty good. One other really cool thing about LinkedIn ads is you can put only if you use the the LinkedIn business page, you can get the pixel and you can put a tracking pixel on your site and it will track like people who have come to your site, and you could actually separate them according to job title. So I think that's pretty cool. And then you can make different audiences for the different jobs people have. I thought that was pretty impressive, right? That LinkedIn's doing that.
Yeah, Lucinda mentioned she hears video is the best option, and video seems to be on all the platforms the best or preferred option. I think people respond to videos more as well. Most of the platforms weigh on videos more heavily, so you would get more exposure typically on video content. So it's
well, there's some rules. I don't know about like how long the video has to be in the feed to get in the feed, but I do know that you can't upload anything more than 10 minutes. Do you remember when LinkedIn or when YouTube was like that?
Yeah.
Remember? That was a long time ago. So I wonder if LinkedIn will change that.
Mm-hmm.
I see the videos on LinkedIn seem really a lot of them seem really professional, not all. And I kind of dig that. Like it just, I find LinkedIn maybe a combination of Instagram and business professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I like where it's going. We know it's not going away, right? So, and I really wanted to dig in besides the ad formats, the what you can target by. It's pretty cool. You can target by company name, company size, title, location, seniority, age, education, competitors. I thought that was pretty cool. Like,
that's huge because, you know, for someone like me who goes after a certain, you know, client type, being able to specify that I want to be in front of a company of a certain size is important. I don't necessarily want to be in front of a person who's just starting their business and doesn't have a large budget to create their initial website. So yeah, it's. And also, can you do things like target law firms, which
I would think you could company name, right, or industry, so you could target law firms. I like.
So I would definitely target, you know, the type of companies that I've worked with in the past who have been, you know, the better clients. Being able to target them directly on LinkedIn would be great.
Now, you and I are both on LinkedIn, and anybody else who's out there, join us on LinkedIn. Greg does post stuff, and I do see it. But I think LinkedIn is going to be something to be reckoned with in the future. I think it's great for business professionals. It's great for companies. And I will say, if we think about who's on there, like I've told you my story before on, you know, when LinkedIn came around, I never had to look for a job again. I got headhunted all the time. They just put in sales and advertising, and my profile would come up. So if you're looking for work, so that brings me to who's on there besides, you know, business owners and things like that. Any people in business doing business with businesses are on there, and their employees. And those employees were people like me at different jobs. And, you know, they're saying that most people on LinkedIn make 50 plus. They're saying like, there's also things like, you know, sometimes you're not allowed on Facebook in different business settings, right? But you are allowed on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So it does have an audience that is there during the workday. So I didn't get really granular with deciding if you could do hours and targeting on there for your ads, but that would be probably beneficial because I could see it totally drop in the evening, right?
Yeah. I've never looked at any stats on LinkedIn, the demographic, the times that people are actually on LinkedIn. So it'd be interesting to see when the peak times are, if they are in fact during the day, or if there's a lot of evening traffic.
Right. The workday, I think you're going to get a lot of those worker bees that are in there, receptionists and marketing people. And I think it's, if you guys agree, do you guys think it's a platform to be reckoned with Mona actually said, Pep, the search was the question I was going to ask. Yes, you can search on there. It's a great place to job hunt. And just a little thing, on Saturday, I'm going to talk about, upping your skills. And one of the ways I did it was I looked on LinkedIn at people I liked, wanted to follow, and I saw what their skills were, and I wrote them down. So I think, besides getting yourself on there, targeting is huge on there for jobs and skills and upping your skills. And yeah, what else we got on this,
They
Craig?
have a whole LinkedIn Learning, which is where you can take courses and
Now, did you
learn
know?
more about your profession.
Did you know on LinkedIn? So it used to be LinkedIn Learning was called lynda.com.
Lynda.com, yeah.
And you could, depending on the country and city you live in, if you have a library card, a lot of the time you can access all that free material through your library card by punching it in. I thought I used to learn like that. That's when I first started out. So like less than 3 years
ago. I know it was like that with lynda.com. I don't know if that's still the case now that it's LinkedIn Learning. Possibly, but I'm not sure.
Man, some of that stuff was so dry. I don't know. Did anybody else do LinkedIn Learning? Or lynda.com? 6 hours of pure dry learning. I'm like, I don't know. But I guess that'd be a good place to learn how to do the LinkedIn advertising. Now, Greg, after, kind of digging into this, do you think you'd recommend to your clients to try LinkedIn? Like, what would get you thinking that LinkedIn might be a good resource?
I'm seeing still at the moment that LinkedIn for me is more about people who are looking for jobs or getting their profiles on there. So the biggest thing is companies who are looking to hire, posting jobs, sponsoring those posted jobs, if that's a thing, to get in front of people who are people looking for work, or they need to find certain types of people is big. As far as advertising of businesses to other businesses, I don't know how effective it would be.
Well, if you're like Sash, so if Sash wanted to hire out, a WordPress developer, or they could find you on there. It'd be super easy pickings, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So that might work for company owners. Like, when you owned your company, would you have looked for people on there?
To hire?
Yeah.
Definitely. We would have, LinkedIn was in its very infancy when I had my first business. So,
it was the place to go.
It's not something we use. We hired a company to do our recruiting whenever we needed to find new talent. So, but now I would definitely turn to LinkedIn and not hire a company. We would post a job and see what we got. And if of the pool of what we got on LinkedIn wasn't satisfactory, then maybe we would go to a headhunting company to get better candidates.
Right. It sounds like, okay, two audiences. So the business owner and the employee, that is who is on LinkedIn. That's how we have to separate it seems. And so the benefits, I think, are, well, that and the targeting, I think, but you've got to be willing to pay for the cost per click, right? Which is pricey. I saw upwards of minimum like $6 per click and maximum 16 from what I saw. But I mean, you know what? Comparable to AdWords, the average is $1 to $2 per keyword string. However, for a certain industry like cosmetic dentistry, I mean, you're looking at could be up to $50 per click, right?
But so the thing about the cost per click is that if you, like you say, you can get very granular in, even specifying a specific company that you're advertising for. So if you're going directly for that company, and you advertise directly to that company and they see it and they click and click on your ad and find you, then you've just basically instantly like they were your exact target and they clicked and they came to you. That's worth a lot of money.
No, I will say the guy that got me an InMail, it could be a relationship made in heaven. And it 2 mails and I opened it and mind you, I had somebody else reach out. So the great thing about LinkedIn is the connections we make. Like, Greg, I gave you a recommendation on there and I know you're going to give me one, right?
Oh,
Greg?
yeah.
Right, Greg?
I was, yeah. I haven't got around to it.
When you work with people, we can give each other recommendations. So, because usually most of the review sites are all about like, I did a service for you and you're reviewing me, right? Where LinkedIn is more like how kind of Uber works. You review the driver and the driver reviews you and, you each comment. So I like that, but that's nothing to do with advertising. So I've gone off topic because I get so excited. So if anybody has any questions, Sash particularly, you got any questions? I will give you both one. Aw, you're a rock star. I'll give you one too. You've been a pleasure to work with, my friend. I can't wait. I am actually, Sasha and I are working on a project together, it looks like, in the future. So That's fun. I know. So Greg, I think we've covered it all. We have about 6 minutes left. We have that burning question on chime in, everybody, if you have any LinkedIn opinions.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, I know we did a previous talk on LinkedIn and we mentioned if anybody wants to connect with us, feel free to search us up on LinkedIn and connect with us.
I got like 800 people.
Anybody who wants to connect with us on LinkedIn, do so. We'll accept.
Right.
As long as you're nice.
Right. As long as you're nice. And you know what? We're over there more and more. I will say I had an old colleague, someone I sold advertising to, reach out to me recently, and we are connecting about doing some marketing. So LinkedIn's got some legs. I think, you should be on there. You should connect with us. So Greg, next week, do you know next week's topic?
I will know it when you tell me.
Oh, next week. Oh my God. And please, if you have any tips or advice on this topic, I'm gonna post something. I'll probably leave it up and let's get the comments in there. It's gonna be all about getting engagement on social media. It's a big one. It's a big one because we all work in the social realm and we all are trying to grow our businesses and our clients' businesses online. So I figured we could have a real chat it up about, the social things.
What you shouldn't and shouldn't do for best results. Yeah, I was just reading something about that the other day.
My light is making me look. Oh, there, it fixed itself. Interesting. So guys, join us next week. We have 2 minutes left. If you have a question, jump in, state it now, or just, send some love because we love that. And Greg, you got any things you're doing, direct people to something? Where can people find you, my friend? Where can people find you?
People can find me at my website, original72.com, or they can find me in the Cyberpunk Geeks Facebook group.
What do you do for a living, Greg?
What do I do for a living?
What do you do for a living?
I do so many things.
Yeah, but what's the one thing you want to keep doing?
Boy, I really want to keep doing design for people.
Really?
It's really fun.
So is that like design for websites or just like design?
Design in general. It could be a website, it could be a brochure, business cards, letterheads.
Right? Okay, cool.
Letterhead. Any type of branding. I really enjoy digging deep into branding and learning. I love learning about people's company and what they're passionate about, and then translating that into a visual for them.
Right? I like that. Sash is saying you guys have to talk. It's probably true. She loves that stuff too. And it sounds like you guys are on a similar page. With that, let me say you can find me in the group or at Seymour Digital Media. What else do I have to say? Oh, I'm really excited about next week's topic. So join us. And Greg, I think we're almost out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, 11:30.
1 minute to go, people.
I gotta go make lunch.
Sash says she could sure have a hand with graphic design. Ooh, I see a match made in heaven.
Get in touch with me, Sasha.
Right. Okay. So we'll see you guys next week. And thank you for being a part of this group and coming in here and joining us. We really do appreciate you, and we really love what we're doing. And the group's going well. Feel free to invite some friends. We're getting into it. So we'll see you next week.
See everybody online.
Yeah.